Hello everybody, this is Larry with Flint Rod Outdoor Magazine. Today I'm going to be showing you one of the minor modifications that I'm going to be making to the Smith & Wesson M&P15 Sport. I'm going to be replacing the handguard on this today, and I've gone out and purchased a couple of items to do that. So I got the Magpul M-LOK handguard, the AFG-2 angled foregrip that will go on to the Picatinny rail sections that I purchased that will mount onto the handguard. So I'm going to start out by putting the Picatinny rail sections onto the handguard and show you how that's done. And then once I've got all this put together, I'm going to be putting the handguard on the AR. So the stock or handguard comes in two sections. It's got a metal heat shield on the inside and makes for easy mounting of the polymer Picatinny rail sections. They will go on the bottom and the sides of the handguard. And when you put these on, it's relatively easy. They come with all the necessary bits that you need, screws, and these essentially nuts that will go down into the sections of the handguard so that you can screw those in and tighten them in. They have a little bit of a raised nut, if you will, where the that fits down into the groove and will help you hold them in place as you're putting everything together. You start out just by sliding one of those in there, grabbing the rail section that you want to put on, and inserting the screw. Now the screws are all hex driven, and they take a 1/8 inch hex and just screw in place like so. Now I'm going to be mounting a small section of Picatinny rail and a longer section of Picatinny rail on the bottom of the handguard so that I can add a couple of other items later on. One of them will be the AFG-2 foregrip, and another item that I will be purchasing a little bit down the road. So these sections go on, again, pretty easily. And just get them nice and tight. Got them in place. Alright, so now that I have everything mounted on here the way that I want, I've got the Picatinny rail across the bottom with my AFG-2 foregrip. I've got the two Picatinny rails on the sides. Place them as far forward as I could, so in the future I can get a nice light that I can trigger with my thumb and keep the other side open for something at a later date. Now, putting this thing on is actually the biggest pain in the backside part of this whole operation. There's a heavy-duty spring retainer ring at the base of the handguard, and if you don't have a nice gun vise with all the appropriate tools, it can be a little bit of a pain to get this handguard off and put the new one on in its place. So I'm going to try and get this in the shot so that everyone can see it. So what you have to do is you take good hold of the retainer ring. You have to pull it down to remove the existing handguard. Make sure when you do that, you've got your gas tube that goes across the top of the barrel here. You want to make sure you pay close attention. Don't damage it in any way. Then you put the top section of the new handguard in place. This is not the most fun part of the whole ordeal. Frankly, didn't paint it. So, get the top section in place. And then get your back section. Back down, and you get your bottom section in place, and now you've got everything mounted, and you've got your new foregrip and handguard, and you're ready to go. So now the reason I had mounted a full section down here on the bottom portion of the handguard so that I could also add on the bipod that I purchased, which is the XTS tactical bipod. It's 6 to 9 inch, I think, 6 to 8 inch, and goes right onto the Picatinny rail that I've mounted on the bottom portion. So I'm going to go ahead and get that added on while I'm at it. And it's a pretty easy placement. You don't have to slide it on. It just goes right on over the top and screws in place. And so now you've got a nice bipod on there as well. Now, the thing that I like about this bipod, number one, it's not very expensive. Number two is when you fold down the legs, you've got the standard length, but if you give the screws a twist, pull these out, and so you've got that extensible lift on there. And then when you want to collapse that, you loosen your screws again, and all you have to do is push on the release buttons, tighten your screws, pull them back down, and you're ready to go. So there you go. Now ready to go out in the field. One thing that I would suggest adding that I'm going to be adding to this is some nice optics. So you want to make sure that any optics that you do get for this are built to handle the shock of an AR-15 firing. So that's going to be the next thing that I'm going to be mounting on this rifle.